number of years ago, I was doing some work for a client, doing security assessment of a number of their offices, large multinational company, um, offices in countries around the world. They had sent me to a country that shall remain unnamed to do an security assessment of their satellite office there. And that assessment was really kind of soup to nuts assessment, everything from policy to physical security to you name it. The country they were operating in was fairly hostile to the client's country of origin. There were legitimate threats of terrorist attack against the office in question. Um, so, among other things, the client operated under an assumed business name within the country, did not identify under their actual name. All of the signage around the office in a mid-rise office building in this country was under the assumed name. No one that worked there identified themselves as being an employee of my client. Um, Arrived in the country to do security assessment on, I think it was a Sunday night. Started working through the assessment on Monday. For the most part, everything seemed, pretty good. Certainly some areas for improvement, but nothing really glaring. And about day two or three, had done some physical assessment, generally fairly good. Was sitting in a cubicle, actually just reviewing some documentation. At which point I discovered that while they were operating under an assumed name and were doing a very good and consistent job of that, um, they had they had deployed a wireless network within the office for workers to use. And it was a wireless network that was federated with their overall global corporate infrastructure for authentication and authorization. And they were broadcasting the SSID, which clearly identified the actual name of the company. Um, Probably one of the more that was one of the more severe findings on the report in terms of risk, based off of obviously the threat profile there and the fact that anyone relatively close to the office space could easily determine what the company was that was actually operating there under an assumed name.